the Kadampa Geshes, I think, says that we use the word guru for whoever is pleased by practice and does not give even the slightest consideration to material gifts. So in general that's the case. Of course, if you offered $10 million to Rinpoche, he wouldn't be displeased. He would, or $100 million, then he'd be very pleased, be able to do so many amazing things with that money. But basically it's saying you can't bribe the guru or something with material things. That's not what he's mostly interested in. Rinpoche would only be interested in money because of what we can do in terms of holy objects and so forth with that money. I mean, there's one person, I think obviously their motivation wasn't so great, but they'd gone in to see Rinpoche again, I think at Kopan, with a very beautiful, some kind of silver or diamond, I don't know, necklace, offered it to Rinpoche. He just threw it out the window, apparently. He just threw it away immediately. So he wasn't impressed by that material gift. So yeah, they're happiest when we practice the Dharma. Makes sense. But then you can also respect the Guru by serving with body and speech. This means such physical actions as bathing, massaging, cleaning dirt from the body, nursing, as well as vocal actions. Then practicing according to the Guru's words means to practice without contradicting what the Guru instructs you to do. So the Jatakamala, Garland of Birth Story, says the worship that you should do in return for my help is to practice in accordance with my instructions. So then there's questions like, what if the Guru asks me to do something against the Dharma, which is incorrect, which is contrary to my vows? Then the answer here, at least of Tsongkhapa in this case, is then, with respect to this, Gunaprabha, I have a picture of Gunaprabha on the wall. Gunaprabha's Sutra on the Discipline states, if the abbot instructs you to do what is not in accord with the teachings, refuse. You can refuse, but do not act in, with the respect to virtue, act in accord with the Guru's words, but do not act in accord with the Guru's words with respect to non-virtue. Rather, excuse yourself politely and do not engage in what you are instructed to do. If you cannot reasonably do as the Guru is instructed, excuse yourself with soothing words. But one should never badmouth or criticize our Gurus. Even if they give us very awful instructions, we should not badmouth someone we have taken as a teacher. We just kind of say, okay, I'm very sorry, I don't think I can do this. So like that. What are the benefits of relying? Well, incredible list of benefits, which some of you have already, I'm sure, you've seen in the Lamrim. But basically, there's different quotes given here. You won't fall into miserable realms. You will be able to engage in the bodhisattva deeds, extensively. You won't be overcome by bad karma or afflictions. You'll become closer to becoming an omniscient Buddha. You'll be able to fulfill all of your Dharma aims. All your practices will become virtuous. You'll always please your virtuous friends. You won't bring suffering upon others or yourself because you won't be creating non-virtuous karma. And as a result of guarding others and yourself, you'll complete the path to enlightenment and be able to work for the welfare of beings who have entered wrong paths. Thus, once bodhisattvas have relied on the Guru, they'll complete all of their collections of good qualities. Your action of serving the teachers gets rid of your negative karmas and replaces them with only slight harm to your body and mind in this life, either in actuality or, for example, in dreams. You could have bad dreams or a bad headache, things like that. They say it's also purifying negative karma. So you don't have to go into suffering realms, one can experience it that way. The Sutra of Chitigarbha says that those whom the teachers care for will purify the karma that would otherwise cause them to wander through the miserable realms for 10 million limitless eons. So they can purify this karma with harm to their bodies and minds in this lifetime, That includes sickness such as infectious disease with fever and calamities such as famine. So they may purify their karma by merely undergoing something as little as a dream or a scolding. They produce more roots of virtue in one morning than those who give gifts to worship or observe precepts from limitless tens of millions of Buddhas. Sometimes I think of people like Venerable Roger, who is an Australian monk who has served Rinpoche for, I don't know, maybe 30 years now. Extraordinary to be able to keep up with Rinpoche and to serve him, and also to serve the organization for so many years. Just unbelievable. Of course he has problems. He had physical problems. He gets very tired sometimes and so forth, but the amount he must be purifying and the positive karma he's generating is just unbelievable. Must be unbelievable. He's a very very unusual person. We can all hope to be a little bit like that, like Venerable Roger, who was even praised by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who doesn't easily praise people in public. He praised, I think, Roger in front of several people one time. That's unusual. So, notice that all of the Buddha's immeasurable good qualities arise from this proper reliance on the teacher. Therefore, rely on, become close to, serve, and venerate the Guru, just as you would the Buddhas. So once you're close to them, particles of their good qualities will stick to you automatically. So being in the Guru's presence, there's some kind of osmosis takes place. Yeah? Somebody called Bodowa said, maybe Potowa, I don't know. Bodowa said, for the most part we are in great danger of becoming like a worn animal skin. Just as when you drag a worn skin over the ground, debris sticks, but gold coins don't. So it is that if you rely on teachers only occasionally, their good qualities do not stick to you, but each slight fault does. Therefore, to be successful, rely continuously on your teachers. Faults of not relying on the teacher. What sort of result is there for those who reproach their masters, Bhagwan? This is in the Vajrapani Sutra. It says, the Bhagwan answered, Vajrapani, don't ask this question, for the answer will frighten the world, including the deities. So obviously, it's just such a horrible thing that we'll have to undergo by not relying properly, that the Bhagwan says, it'll frighten even the deities, the gods. However, Lord of Secrets, I will say something. O hero, listen carefully. As I've explained, any of the unbearable hells resulting from such karma as the deeds of immediate retribution are said to be the abode of those who reproach their teachers. They must stay there for limitless eons. Therefore, never reproach your master on any occasion. There are certain things like killing your parents or wounding holy beings and so forth, which bring immediate retribution at the time of death, immediate rebirth in hellish realms. So this is where one is said to go if one doesn't, if one is reproaches one's teachers, looks down on them, despises them, criticizes them, develops anger towards them, and so forth. Which is why often the Gurus take great pains not to anger their student. Knowing that a particular student may have a lot of anger or anger may come up, they are careful not to make that arise because they know what the result will be for that student. You who despise the master, you greatly confused person, will die by poison, demons, infectious disease, leprosy, contagious fever, other illnesses, etc., etc. So like that, obviously we're not going to develop good qualities if we have this attitude towards the person who only wishes to benefit us. Yeah. So all of the benefits of relying, it's the opposite if we don't. So we need to also be careful of being involved with people who criticize our teachers, not spending time with them. Therefore, he says, I've taken citations from uncorrupted scriptures and their commentaries, which are easy to understand as well as inspiring. And I've given a general overview that is adorned with the sayings of excellent persons who are engaged in the meaning of the scriptures. Our afflictions are extremely coarse. Some listen to the teachings given by many teachers and they don't know how to rely on the Guru. And even if they know how, they don't do it. So therefore they will incur immeasurable misdeeds that are related to their improper reliance on the Guru. So therefore they'll find it difficult to develop an awareness of practices such as confession of former wrongdoing and restraint from future wrongdoing. So thus, after you've understood the benefits and the faults as explained, reflect on them repeatedly. So those whose practice of relying on the teacher was improper in previous lives should develop an attitude of confession and restraint from the depths of their hearts. Yeah, so we have to make, he says, many aspirational prayers, accumulate collection of merit and sublime wisdom as causes for having fully qualified teachers looking after us until enlightenment. So once you've done this, you'll quickly become like the conqueror's child, Sada Prarudita, I think that's the always crying one, who had perfect courage, and the youthful Sudana, who knew no limit in his search for teachers. So this is all from the Lamrim Chenmo, this advice. And when I've seen Rinpoche with his teachers, again it's a teaching in Guru devotion. Once the great Kirti Sensar Rinpoche came to Root Institute in Bodh Gaya several times to give teachings, and Rinpoche's devotion was really something remarkable for us who had no idea really how to engage in proper Guru devotion, absolute devotion, physical, mental. Mental, of course, you can't see, but going by the physical, it's just utmost respect and devotion for Kirti Sensar Rinpoche from Lama Zopa Rinpoche all the time. So like that, we can learn from that. We can learn. Any points you want to bring up about Guru devotion before we look at the text? We're not going to do the Tara text, but the Foundation of All Good Qualities prayer, which is there, written by Lama Tsongkhapa. Any points not clear? Of course, the more we understand suffering, again the first noble truth, the more we'll realize how important the Guru is, because I think, for myself at least, one doesn't understand how much actually one is suffering, what actually suffering means. And when we really understand what it means, that the very foundation of our life right now is suffering, then we realize how important it is to have a teacher who can show us that and help us get out of that. Because right now, so long as things are going kind of okay, then, one says, yeah, life is okay, no problem. And one may be having a lot of enjoyments even, or good fortune. So then, it's okay. But then if we have a problem, then we might want to rush to the Guru and ask questions. Like going to the doctor when we're sick, only when we're quite sick, obviously sick. But the Guru is such a doctor that he's told us how we're really always sick at the moment. Venerable.
If you could throw some light on the fact that some of us have gurus from different lineages.
Have some?
Have gurus from different lineages.
Ah.
And then how can one have like proper attitude of devotion towards all? Because sometimes I often hear this from people that there's so much confusion, how do we do it? They have different practices from different gurus. If you can throw some light on that, please.
Well, the only light I could throw is again quotes from the teachings and from our own teacher. Of course, sometimes Rinpoche likes sometimes to be a little, I wouldn't say controversial, but maybe, because some people go on about, remake, we should have teachers from every tradition and practice this and that, and then Rinpoche sometimes says, kind of makes fun of it, those who are really trying to integrate too much. The point being that, and it's mentioned in Lama Tsongkhapa's biography, also that it's okay for Lama Tsongkhapa, he maybe had 50 gurus or more. It's not going to work for most of us because exactly we will get confused. If we don't have proper guru devotion, towards one, then having 50 will make us more confused, and really it's like having too many ingredients in a meal where it needs to be more wholesome and simple. Of course, there's a general piece of advice, isn't there, from Vajradhara, which forms the basis of many of these guru devotion teachings, which is that you regard all your gurus as the Buddha. Or if you feel you have a root guru, a main guru, then you feel that all the gurus that you have, all other gurus, are just in essence that guru. And your guru is in essence all those gurus who are oneness with all the Buddhas. I mean, that's, if one can begin to do that, that's the best thing. Then you feel these are all manifestations of my guru, who is a Buddha, and out of their kindness they are giving different teachings to different disciples according to their needs, which again is something Vajradhara mentions, that the guru manifests in many different ways according to the needs of the disciples, even as an animal, or occasionally as a bridge or water, or whatever. The guru can manifest, great bodhisattvas, Buddhas can manifest in that way. So of course there's going to be different qualities of different gurus. But we also have to be, we have to be intelligent. If we haven't even mastered some of the basic teachings, and then we go off to listen to gurus who are teaching, very high teachings, Mahamudra, Dzogchen, this, that, and the other, then of course we're just going to confuse ourselves. I mean, we're not really gaining much benefit from any of them, perhaps, if we're not focusing on one thing properly. And to focus on one or a few practice initially properly, we need to get those teachings. So we need to get it from a particular lineage which teaches it in a way which is useful for our mind. If we get too many versions of it, it might confuse a beginner, if not someone who isn't just a beginner. So I think see them all as Buddha, as essence of one's own guru. That's what I try to do. Even though I know gurus as different, who are very different sort of personalities. Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Dzongsa Rinpoche, Chekini Rinpoche, different manifestations. But I try and see, they're all the guru. They're all the guru. I see how they all benefit so many beings with different styles, different ways. And in the case of Dzongsa Rinpoche, isn't a monk. So, but that doesn't matter. What does that matter? They are highly realized people who are benefiting others. And Vajradhara, the Buddha says, who else but these kind of people are going to be my manifestations or my messengers for you in this degenerate age? We can't identify with the, not let alone the Sambhogakaya, we can't even, we haven't had the merit to meet the fully fledged Nirmanakaya, Shakyamuni Buddha. We're going to have to rely on people who come and use sticks when they get old and, have sicknesses, manifest sicknesses, and, some of them pick their nose and stuff like that. But that's how they're going to manifest, aren't they? Flesh and blood Buddha, people. For us, we can't see anything else. We can't see the Sambhogakaya, which is a body of light, let alone the Dharmakaya, So how are they going to manifest? They're going to manifest as all these different beings. But again, to repeat myself, we have to be skillful. We can't take on too much. If we're taking on too many different kind of lineages before we're wise enough, then I can't see how that would really help. It'd be like a mishmash. We wouldn't be digesting it. I think we're lucky in the sense that Lama Zopa Rinpoche is held in such high esteem. Whoever I've met, they've always esteemed him. Whether it's Situ Rinpoche or others, they've always had high regard for Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe. So at least we have teachers who are well liked and admired by other lineages. And I also like the fact myself very much that Lama Zopa Rinpoche was said to be Nyingma in his last life and still has Nyingma practices. That for me, makes me very happy. It means that we have an automatic connection with other lineages who regard who have, Guru Rinpoche and other like that, as their main practice. So, what can I say? I doubt there's anything there that you didn't know before, really. But I think sometimes we get distracted, and it's that supermarket mentality for some of us sometimes, where we want to go and taste a little bit of everything, and we haven't yet really digested the basic material yet. If I ask myself, do I have realization of death and impermanence? I have to say no. So then a Lama would say, well, if you don't have that properly, what are you doing? You better get that realization first, or at least so that it causes you to lose some sleep, so that you begin to take it seriously. Like Pabonka says, you should lose sleep when you think about death and impermanence. It should scare you, and it should scare us into not wasting any time. So then going for the high teachings, I sometimes feel like a monkey. But I'm not saying that's not worth doing it. Obviously the Lamas want us to take all levels of teachings for various reasons. But we have to be careful. But for myself, I feel very happy to have at least teachers from three traditions that I relate with, and have had teachings. Thanks to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, many of us have received teachings from Sakya Lamas as well, due to Rinpoche inviting them and so forth. And I think that's all to the good. But then we need to have something as our focus, and shouldn't get confused by the high lamas taking lineages from other traditions. They can do that, they need to do that, because they're already so elevated, but I don't think we can do that yet.